Hey, welcome back. It is time to make some magic. It's magic time with Student of the Gun Radio. And I, of course, am your host, Paul Markle. Thank you for joining us. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge my studio engineer and producer over there. He's the guy that you can't see. Now, you can't see me if you're only listening to this on a podcast. But if you're watching us on YouTube, Jared, are we doing YouTube or where else is it going to be available? Just on YouTube?
It's going to be on YouTube, and I'll put it on the website eventually.
Okay. We are doing a video podcast here. We're recording this via video, and Jared will put it up on YouTube. So if you're not following Student of the Gun YouTube, you really should. Just check us out there. And we're everywhere, of course. We're Facebook and Twitter and all the necessary evil stuff. And you're like, dude, I hate Facebook. I'm like, you know what? We don't really like them either. But they're a necessary evil. We use them to reach you. We use them to get our message out to you guys. We're kind of like under their radar, you know what I'm saying? All right, but we are back again, obviously, with another episode of Student of the Gun Radio. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, a lot of crazy stuff. And when you hear this, it will already be June. Holy cow, I cannot believe that the month of May expired already. Are you with me on that? Jeez, it's been, I don't know. Where did that month go? Well, we're back in our home studios, unlike last week when we were out on the road. We're back in our home studios, and by the time you hear this, we'll be gearing up to go to the Red Jacket Birthday Bash up in Ruston, Louisiana. Now, if you hear this early on in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what have you, there is still time for you to go to Red Jacket Firearms on Facebook. It's the Red Jacket Firearms official page, right, Jared?
Yeah, facebook.com/official Red Jacket Firearms.
Okay, the official Red Jacket Firearms Facebook page. And you say, well, why would I want to go there? Well, if you'd like to come out and meet us or meet the guys from Red Jacket and shoot machine guns, you can do that. You can buy a ticket because they've opened it up to the public this year. And it's going to be in Ruston, Louisiana. You can Google the map or what have you. And the date is Saturday, June 7th. Saturday, June the 7th, 2014. That is the Red Jacket Firearms official annual birthday bash. And this year, unlike all the previous years, it is open to the public as a ticketed event. So if you'd like to do it, get on there, buy some tickets, come on out, have a good time, eat some catfish, drink some sweet tea, shoot some machine guns, watch them firing cannons, all that good stuff. I mean, how other way would you want to spend a Saturday? Say, well, I can sit home and I can, mow my lawn or I can trim the hedges, or I can go out to the range in Ruston and I can watch them shoot cannons and I can shoot machine guns. Well, it's your choice, brother. So if you're around, we'd love for you to come around and see us. But this Red Jacket Firearms official Facebook page. Now, Jared, before we get into the good guy of the week, has everyone been, all our good guys, have they been very responsive, sending us their email addresses? Well, not emails, but, their T-shirt sizes and all that stuff.
They usually answer within a day.
Okay. Yeah, our dedicated fans. And, some of you are out there and you found us for the first time. That's fantastic. Welcome aboard. And I'm going to take just a quick moment to explain to you how the good guy of the week works. What Jared will do every week, he gets into our social media and our forum page, and we have a Student of the Gun mobile app. And if you know anything about the mobile app, or even if you don't, you should know that you can leave comments on it. And so when we're searching for a topical question, something that not just you, but a lot of other people might be thinking about, Jared will go to the forums at studentofthegun.com. He'll go to the mobile app, he'll go to the Facebook, and he'll search around. Well, this one here comes to us from our mobile app. And if you are chosen as the good guy of the week, what you get is you get a Excess Sights Good Guy package. And that's a pack, a T-shirt, a hat, patches, stickers, a new catalog. They might even throw in one of their official Excess Sights little pens and so forth. And to get all that free stuff, all you have to do, if your name is chosen, is to go ahead and write Jared, Jarrad, at studentofthegun.com. Say, Jared, I'm the winner. Here's my information. Now, Jared, tell us who it is that is our good guy of the week this week, And what subject do they want to talk about?
Our good guy this week is Nathan Tensman. And like Dad said, he posted this question on the mobile app. If you don't have it, just go to your little app store and type in Student of the Gun, and you can find it. We've had a couple questions about Windows phones when we're going to come out with that app. I'm working on that right now. It'll be in the future, so pay attention for that. Nathan says, if you were caught in a situation in a public place during an active shooter situation and were separated from your family, would you escape or attempt to reconnect and escape with your family?
Okay. The reason we chose this is because the main purpose of this whole discussion is pre-staging or pre-discussion of the situation. If you wait until the situation is going down, you're out with your family and something goes wrong, you've never talked about it, you've never discussed it, you've never prepared for it, it's going to be chaos, and you're just going to be like making it up as you go along. And the reason we chose this question is because right now, today, okay, maybe not today, but the next time all of your family members are together in the same place, and I know today that's tough in today's world to get everybody in the same place, but get them sitting down at dinner or in the living room or movie night or whatever, and just say to them, look, if we're ever out in public and something happens, everybody says, active shooter, but it doesn't have to be an active shooter. It could be some kind of a crisis. It could be a fire. It could be a tornado. It could be a whatever. What would and we're separated. Where will we fall back to? And what are our responsibilities? Now, I became a police officer shortly. Well, actually, I had joined a police department right before my wife and I got married. And we would be out, after we got married with our little kids. And as you know, the kids went from being babies to toddlers to, preteens to teenagers and so forth. But essentially, when we were out, I would be carrying a gun. And if we had kids, my wife knew and she understood that it was our agreement that if Daddy had to get his gun out, that it was up to Mommy to corral the kids and move the kids towards, safety or shelter. Especially little kids, your toddlers and elementary school kids and so forth. You need to move them to a safe area. And that was, she understood that from the very beginning. That was her job. If she saw danger or I saw danger or whatever, if Daddy had to get his gun out, this is what you need to do. And as we've gotten older now, my older children, Jared obviously is an adult and he carries a gun. So if Jared and I are out, there's always two guns. And that's something that Jared that I've actually talked about. We said, well, what do you do if there's two gun carriers? Do you both engage? Just one engage, the other one seeks shelter or, deals with the children? If there are no children, rock on. Now you got two fighters in the fight. What do you do? Now, to the specific question of, what do you do if, you're separated or what have you? Well, I'm assuming that you're planning on being armed. If you're planning to be disarmed, then you're just going to be one of the scared masses. That's kind of the way it is. You're just going to be one of the people screaming and running for cover, because what else are you going to do? You deliberately disarmed yourself and set yourself up as a victim. But as far as escaping, reconnecting, and what have you and I've talked to my children about malls and shopping centers and so forth. And one of the pieces of advice, I don't guess this is too big of a super secret about the jewelry stores. The jewelry stores in the malls.
About the alarms?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that
you think everyone knows this? There's no
they
way.
They should know
There's
this.
no way. But what I told my kids, and this is a bodyguard thing. This goes way back to when I first started working as a professional security agent as a bodyguard, and we would work with the kids and teenagers and so forth. And quite often, when you're working with teenagers and they want to go to the mall with their friends, the last thing a teenage girl wants is some big troglodyte dude in a suit with a gun walking around right behind her and her little friends. Believe me, that's the last thing they want. So what you would have to do is actually kind of tail behind them, watch them. And we would brief them. We would brief the kids, and we told them, look, when we're out, if something happens, we're going to start fighting and we're going to do what we need to do. But if we become separated for any reason, find the nearest jewelry store and run into there. Yeah, especially if you think it was a kidnapping attempt or something like that. Run into the jewelry store, and you're like, well, why a jewelry store? Because every jewelry store in every mall in America has a panic button alarm system. Every single one. Your Gap stores within your jeans and your, whatever places that sell women's underwear and stuff, they may or may not, probably the vast majority of them don't have any kind of panic alarm system. But you can bet your sweet Aunt Bippy that Jared's Jewelers and K Jewelers and you name it, Jewelers, Zales, that every single one of them, they've got panic alarm switches. And if somebody comes and they train the people, if somebody gets behind the counter, hit the panic alarm, and it sends a alarm out and to the police, and they'll be on their way jewelry store robbery. So if you think that we would tell them, look, if something happens, we get separated, whatever, and you think you're in danger, run into the nearest jewelry store and run behind the counter, and those people will instinctively just hit the alarm system. And also, this is kind of a bunker situation, but what do jewelry stores also have? They have vaults in the back, right? Any place with a vault doors generally are stiff enough to stop bullets from entering them. So, but you need to pre-plan with your kids, and my kids know if they're ever in a situation where there's an active shooter, pop, pop, pop. A, first get down, get low. B, get something, go for something that will stop bullets from entering your body. My kids know the difference between concealment and cover. Cover something that will prevent bullets from entering your body. Concealment just hides you from the view of the bad guy. And I also told them that, remember, all of these stores have back exits. And we're using the mall situation, but it could be anything. All of the sheep in a panic situation, every sheep is going to run for the main entrance. Think about it. Human beings do that. You walk into a restaurant, there's a panic, and what does everybody do? They run for the place that they came in at. There may be 17 fire exits, but they instinctively think to go. And what you need to be is not a sheep and to go where people don't expect you to go. So the wrap on this question is it's up to you what you're going to do in an individual situation. But the best time for you to discuss emergencies is before they happen, not while they're happening. And this doesn't have to be something that you dwell on over and over and over again. Basically, just do it. And every once in a while, if you've got kids or in your spouse, every once in a while quiz them. Walk into a restaurant, and when you're sitting at the table in the restaurant, and you say, "All right, point to the nearest exit that we didn't come in, or the nearest entrance we didn't come in, or the nearest door," and see if your kids are paying attention. And you may be surprised. Most of them generally do. If they know that it's a potential for you to ask them, they'll look around. They'll start paying attention. All right. We want to move on, or do you want to talk about the awareness game? Or should we save the awareness game for another time?
We can go ahead and talk about the awareness game. It kind of fits in with the subject.
Okay. Here's a bonus for you guys. You know what, Jared? Let's put a pin in the awareness game in the next segment, because we're talking about being an armed gun carrier.
Okay.
A gun carrier.
All Segment 2, we will have the awareness game.
All right, folks. And when it comes to awareness, when it comes to preparedness, when it comes to doing it before you need it, it's kind of like CPR or medical training or any kind of emergency training or skills. You can't make it up when it happens. We're like, every once in a while you'll run into a person who is, they've deceived themselves into thinking, well, I'm a pretty intelligent person, and I'm strong, I'm smart, I'm all this stuff. And if I was ever in a situation like that, I would know what to do. And you say, okay, how would you know? Well, it's just common sense, right? Ladies and gentlemen, don't delude yourself. That's like saying, well, I've never driven above 60 miles an hour. But if I was ever thrust into the Daytona 500, I could do it because I would know. Not really. In an emergency situation, in a panic situation, in a hard adrenaline dump situation, what you're going to do, what your body is going to do, is it's going to default to whatever level of skill you have mastered, whatever you've done the most. Think about it like this. You walk into a darkened room. You open the door, and the room is dark. And so what do? You stop and say, there is no light in this room. I'm seeking light. And in order to seek and have light, I must find that little up and down switchy thing on the wall. And then you pause and you consider where the switchy thing is. And then after you've considered it, you reach out and you turn it on. Is that what you do? Of course you don't. Because why? Because you've turned on and off light switches 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 times in your life. You walk into a darkened room, your instant reaction is your hand goes out, boom, sweeps the wall to get the light on. Well, why can you do that without thinking about it? Why do you do it without thinking about it? Because you've done it over and over and over and over again. Now, consider whether it's a traumatic medical situation, whether it is a violent assault situation, whether it is, some kind of a panic adrenaline dump. What have you done? What skills have you mastered? For those of you who have a self-defense handgun and have not yet put 50 rounds through that self-defense handgun, what are you waiting on? You're going to perform exactly, and people are like, well, I'll step it up, or I'll be able to step it up, and the whole grandmother lifting a car off of a baby and stuff like that. Don't hope for miracles. Don't wish for miracles. You need to be your own miracle, and whatever level you have defaulted to, that is where you will be. And if your default is watching TV and movies and thinking, well, I'm a smart guy, I know how this gun works. Okay, you understand the mechanics of it. Have you ever used it under a stressful situation? Well, I go to the range once in a while. Okay, great. And has anyone ever critiqued you? Well, no, but I'm pretty good. I know what I'm doing. Come on, folks. We can be better than that. And you should seek more than that. You should seek more than okay or pretty good or I think. You should have confidence that I know I'm going to be able. If there is a bad situation, I know I'm going to step up. I know that I will win. I know that I will be victorious. And how do you get that confidence? Now, in the United States of America today, we have a school system and we have a political correctness system that wants to tell children that everyone is a winner. You know what? Not everyone is a winner. Some people stink. And telling people who stink and who have no skill that they're a winner just deludes them. And when they need that skill, it's not there. Real, genuine confidence comes from an acquiring of experience, knowledge, and skill. And how do you get that? Well, we've been working really hard. If you follow Student of the Gun, and we hope you've been following us for a while, but if you're brand new, this is what I'm going to tell you. We've been working very hard through the establishment of the website, through the television show, through the radio show. Thank you for listening. Through the books. I've written a couple of books. I did release 2 books this year. I had a book last year. I have another one coming up within this next year. It should be out by this fall. We've done the Armed Living DVD. Talks all about armed living. It's on our gear store. You can check that out. It's relatively inexpensive. And we've done all that stuff, and we even have done some live training. Well, Jared and I have been working behind the scenes because apparently we don't like to sleep. And in addition to everything else that we've been doing, we've been putting together new Student of the Gun University training programs and classes. And all you guys have to do is if you go to studentofthegun.com, click on the gear tab, or if you're at studentofthegungear.com, just click on the training courses tab. And as you may know, if you're a subscriber to the Student of the Gun newsletter, you already got an email telling you. If you didn't open it, go ahead and open it and take a look at it. But we have several dates coming up. We have a Force Options class coming up. We have the Beyond the Band-Aid class coming up. And those are multiple dates. They're not just one date. And in addition to that, we're going to be offering our Pistol 101 Introduction to Handguns class. That's a one-day class. And we also will be doing the Ballistic Problem Solving Thinking with a Gun in Your Hand class. And those are all coming up. So you want to make sure that you're checking out Student of the Gun regularly. Also, you say, well, I don't have time, Paul, to check your freaking website out all the time. Okay, cool. I know you're a busy guy. Tell you what, all you have to do is go to studentofthegun.com. Sign up on the main page there. There's a little sign up. You put your first name in, your email address. You click it. It sends you an email that says, are you sure you want to get the Student of the Gun newsletter? And you say, yes. Boom. I'm going to confirm it. Okay, fantastic. We add you to the list. And when we have new classes, we'll send you out an email and say, hey, guess what? And as an added bonus, Jared, what do we give them as an added bonus if they're a subscriber and they want to take a class?
Generally, we give a pretty hefty discount.
That's right. If you are an active subscriber to the Student of the Gun newsletter, you will find out first when the classes are offered. And as an added benefit, because Jared is such a nice guy, he'll throw in a discount off of the tuition. So what do you have to lose? And if nothing else, Jared, what do they get to do? If they come to Student of the Gun University and take a class, what do they get to do that nobody else gets to do? He's searching for the right answer.
I was running through how
there's lots of things.
So I was trying to figure out which one you're looking for. Which one are you looking for?
They get to visit us here in Free America. They get to spend some time in Free America, which is always a good thing.
I think we should give all the people that in slave states. I think we should
do a slave state challenge.
Yeah, we should give them a discount so they could come and kind of see what Free America is like. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I don't know, but the Free American people might get angry. They're like, dude, I live in Free America. What's up?
Yeah, you're right.
That's right. Our friends in Texas and Louisiana and Florida.
Well, if they were subscribed, then they would have got a bigger discount.
True. That is true. If you were a subscriber, you would already have that. But we should throw out a challenge, a slave state challenge. If you want to know what it's like to actually live and breathe and be in Free America, you can come down here to the glorious Gulf Coast to Biloxi, Mississippi, and spend some time with us. That's the big thing that I was hoping that you would, is that they will actually get to spend some time with.
I decided to be the
Student of the Gun crew.
I decided to be the humble guy this time.
No, that's why I threw it out to you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your marching orders? What do you need to do? If you want to be better than average, if you want to be better than okay, if you think that your life is worth more than probably or maybe or I think, if you think the lives of your family are more important than sitting around watching a basketball or a football game, join us. We want you to. Go to studentofthegun.com, click on the gear tab, and you'll see a little thing that says training classes. And jump on in there. And if you haven't subscribed yet, shame on you. Get on there, do that. Jared's all the time sending out discount codes and what have you. So check it out. Student of the Gun University. We've got lots of classes coming up soon. Now, this next topic we want to talk about here is, well, before we talk about this next topic, let's go ahead and take a moment and acknowledge the people who support us. And we could not bring you this show. We couldn't buy these awesome microphones and pop filters and splitters and all that jazz if it wasn't for our good friends in the firearms industry, such as Keltec Firearms of Cocoa, Florida, Crossbreed Holsters of Republic, Missouri. If you guys caught Part 2, Episode 66, Part 2, you know that we spent some time with our folks, our friends up there in Republic, Missouri. Talked to them, had a good time, and we're going to be doing some material for the TV show soon. And don't forget about Colt Manufacturing, the makers of the LE 901 308 rifle, which can also be converted to Fire 5.56. Check that out. Now, this came to us, actually, I think it was from Facebook. It was from one of our social media. And somebody, they posted the question. They said, Paul, that Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution, and like it or not, whether liberals like it or not, whether progressives like it or not, right now in 2014, the United States Constitution is still the law of the land, whether or not people ignore it, whether or not your elected leaders in Washington, D.C. choose to ignore it, it's still the law. And to quote from, there's a lot in Section 8. Section 8 is a really long section, and it basically enumerates the powers of the federal government under the Constitution. And it says they have the power to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water. You say, well, big deal, Paul. Why are you talking about this? Well, if you know anything about history, and this is where our quote came from, I believe it was Facebook, it says, do you know that we have not declared war since World War II? And it is the Congress's job, the United States, the Congress, that whole legislative branch, it is their job to decide whether or not the United States of America will go to war with another country. And since World War II, that hasn't happened. And you're like, oh, hang on, Paul. I'm a smart guy. We've been at war a whole bunch since 1940. Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War Part 1, the Gulf War Part 2, all these different things. We've been at war. We're at war right now. No, we're not. Not according to the law. And you say, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that right now across this nation, we've lost thousands upon thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines who've given their lives. Okay. And you're like, well, thank you for that. We appreciate them for that. And we have tens of thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines who have returned home, missing limbs, missing hands, missing legs, and so forth, eyeballs burned, and if it is important enough, this is the question I would have for you guys out there. If the situation overseas, whatever it happens to be, whether it's Iraq or Afghanistan, whether it is Korea, Vietnam, you name it, Syria, Libya, if it's important enough for us to send our troops, for the Congress to decide, the president to decide, we're going to send America's sons and daughters overseas to be killed and maimed and injured for life. If it's so important that we're willing to risk the lives of our sons and daughters, why is it not important enough for those fat butts in the Congress, in the Senate, to sit down and actually debate and decide to declare war or not to declare war? If it's not a big enough deal for the senators to put their name and signatures on a bill declaring war, then why is it a big enough deal to risk your son's life? That's what I want to talk. That's what you should be asking. You should ask each and every one of your senators and congressmen, if this is so important that you're willing to sacrifice my son's or my daughter's life, you're willing to send them overseas to die, to be maimed, to be blown up. If that is so important, and there are times in world history where that is important, if that is so important, why is it not important enough for you people to sit down in that chamber and to come up with a reason for or against a declaration of war? Now, you may say, you may already have an answer. You may say because they're cowards, because that would require effort, because that would require dedication, because then they couldn't flip-flop back and forth on it. And that's probably true. But right now in the United, and you've heard me, Professor Paul, talk about the current state of affairs, what's going on in Afghanistan today, overseas, how the rules of engagement are so screwed up and so upside down that they literally, the rules of engagement that we've foisted upon our troops overseas are so arduous and so complicated that it gives an advantage to the enemy. We're giving an advantage to the people who want to kill our sons and daughters in the interest of, I don't know what, being extra fair, or in the interest of protecting politicians' rear ends. I'm not really sure what exactly the justification for it is, but the fact of the matter is right now, your sons and daughters are being sent overseas and they're being put in danger. They're being put in greater danger than they really should be in because they're hamstrung. And then, God forbid, if they don't check off one of the dozens of boxes before engaging the enemy, then your government tries them as war criminals. It's disgusting, it's sickening, and the only reason it's happening is because nobody or not enough people in the United States of America are paying freaking attention and holding people responsible. Oh, no, Jared, you know what I just did? I just discussed
somebody. Didn't
I
you?
just discussed, and I am disgusted at the same time. I just discussed something that wasn't specifically gun related. So now eunuchs all across the nation who've listened to us twice or maybe 3 times are going to go to their keyboard and whine and cry about, he doesn't talk about guns every time and every minute of every day. And I'm sick of it. You know what? If you don't like it, go listen to something else. I don't need cowards here. I don't need people that want to deceive themselves. I don't need people that want to be intellectually dishonest. If you're intellectually dishonest, if all you're worried about is plinking and trap shooting and I don't want to talk about politics, I don't want to think about it, because if I think about it, it hurts my little feelings. I don't need you in my audience. Go be some vagina somewhere else. And if that offended you, tough nuts. You need to be offended. You need to pull your head out of your freaking rectum. Jared, what would you like to say?
I was just going to say that they need you. They just don't realize it yet.
Amen, brother. What you don't need somebody to tell the emperor doesn't need someone to tell him that his new clothes are awesome. The emperor needs someone to tell him that he's naked. And that's me. That's my job. That's Professor Paul's job. I'm the guy who tells the emperor that he's naked. And they don't like that. And if you went to public school and you have absolutely no idea what the emperor's new clothes is all about, I feel sorry for you, but maybe. Here, go ahead and duck it. Duck emperor the story, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. The the main topic of this week's show is called, we just thought it was so ridiculous that we had to use it as a title, Nuns Against Guns. And you're like, what? What in the world is that even all about? Well, this story comes to us from 10tv.com out of Columbus. And pretty sure that is the Columbus, Ohio. Yes, Dateline, Columbus, Ohio. The steeples, statues, and crosses of the Dominican Sisters of Peace have been keeping watch over the Shepherd community since 1866. Blah, 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 blah. And it goes on to say that we can't. All right, here's a quote from Sister Margaret. You guys know Sister Margaret. You older guys that are 40, 50, 60 years old, you know Sister Margaret. Why do you know Sister Margaret? Because she used to whack you on the hand with a ruler. That's who Sister Margaret is. She used to whack my dad on the knuckles with a ruler. My dad went to Catholic school. It says, we can't keep quiet. We have to speak out, said Sister Margaret. Well, what is Sister Margaret speaking out about? Well, they are protesting a local pawn shop that has applied for an ATF license to sell guns. What? Big deal. Pawn shops do that all. Dude, do you know a pawn shop that doesn't sell guns? Now, you may live in an area where there aren't very many pawn shops, but
I know a roofing shop that sells guns.
Yeah, there's a roofing shop here locally that sells guns. Don't all pawn shops sell guns? So they've decided that the nuns says, according to Sister Margaret, quote, this effort to sell guns is going to ruin, destroy why we are here. What? So according to Sister Margaret, and my dad was born and raised Catholic, and then he converted to the Lutheran Church, and I was raised a Lutheran, and I know Lutherans have nuns too. But according to the sister, says, there's another sister quote here. It says, we have too many already vulnerable people that really need our protection, said Sister Gemma Dahl. Gemma Dahl? I'm not sure. But let's face it, folks. All right, first of all, sisters, this is what I would say to you if you're listening to me right now. I would say you need to focus on sin, not on objects. You need to focus on the actions of man and women, but not on inanimate objects.
You mean the gun doesn't sin?
The gun is neither good nor evil. It is a hard, cold, inanimate object. It is the actions of evil people and or good people. Now, what I would ask the sister, I've said, do you believe that if a police officer, you dial 911 because you're afraid, someone's going to break in, someone's trying to break in, someone's trying to rape, rob, whatever, murder you. You call 911, and a man in a polyester uniform comes flying up. And what does he have on his body? Jared, what does he have?
A baton.
And it goes bang, bang.
Pepper spray? Oh, a gun.
A gun, yeah. So you'll call a man in a polyester uniform to come save your bacon. And nuns eat bacon, right? I think, yeah, you can eat bacon if you're a nun. So save your bacon. Is that gun evil? Is that gun bad? Is there something inherently evil or sinister about that gun? Because it is a gun. Well, let's be honest with ourselves. Instead of being emotional, and this is where they've screwed up. They've jumped into this from an emotional standpoint, which is, let's face it, Jared, that's what women do. And women, if you're listening to me, you know it. If you're honest with yourself, you know it. You look at things first emotionally. And secondly, you look at them logically. And men are supposed to be the opposite. That it's that whole yin and yang thing, you know, that balance.
I believe that they go over that in psychology.
Yeah. And we, as a society, we need that. We desperately need that as a community, as a society. Men need the balance of women. Women need the balance of men. And when you start screwing up that balance, that's when we start having problems. One of the, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, let's see if we can get another eunuch to write in and complain. One of the greatest problems or fallacies or issues that we have as a nation right now is the attempt to turn men into women and women into men. I'm going to say that. But sister, and all of you sisters, what I think you need to focus on is I think you need to focus on the soul. I think you need to focus on sin. I think you need to focus on evil versus good, good versus evil. And when you decide that you're going to ascribe good or evil to inanimate objects, you're basing that on emotion, not on logic, not on even reality. And let's face it, some guns are good. Guns in the hands of good people can be instruments of good. They can be instruments of salvation. When we sent our boys overseas in World War II to knock out the Nazis in imperialist Japan, did we send them with broomsticks and mop handles, or did we send them with M1 Garands and Thompsons? Were those guns bad? Were those guns evil? Should we have not sent them overseas with guns because guns are bad and only bad people have guns? It's dishonest, and I'm sorry, but and if it hurts your feelings, Tango Sierra, but we need to be honest. We need to not react based upon emotion. So that's what I'm going to say about that. But I'm bummed. And if you want to share these, remember, don't forget, if you want to share these stories with your friends, your compadres, you want to put them up on your own little websites or whatever you got going on there, Jared always puts all the links for the stories that we discuss in the show notes. He puts them at studentofthegunradio.com. You can go to studentofthegunradio.com and you can pull and hyperlink all of the show notes, all the stories, all our references. And you think, you're full of crap, Paul, and you don't know what you're talking about, man. Well, okay, I might be full of crap and I might not know what I'm talking about, but I do that based upon the information that I'm given, such as this story from 10tv.com. Now, the next one, this is a positive note. This is not really a go team, but I guess it could be, Jared. It could be a go team student of the gun audience. If you're out there right now, if you're, I guess if you're driving, you can pat yourself on the back with one hand. So you can do that. You can pat yourself on the back.
Have your passenger do it.
Have your passenger. That's right. If you got a passenger, have them pat you on the back and tell you, good job, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, because what you guys did is you've made us the #1 gun-related show on Stitcher Radio. And you're like, Stitcher Radio? Well, that's what I listen to you guys on. How fortuitous is that? It is very fortuitous. iTunes, if you follow iTunes or you know anything about them, iTunes ratings change by the day, by the hour. iTunes ratings constantly change. It's like every time you refresh the computer, the ratings have changed. Now, Stitcher doesn't change. They do their ratings weekly. And for the week of, what was the week? It was the 19th through it was May 19th through 25. I don't know specifically, but
It was last week.
yeah, it was last week. And Stitcher, they have their top 100 sports shows, and they don't divide their sports shows by guns and outdoors and hunting or whatever. It's just all sports. It's all generic, one thing. And according to Stitcher Radio, for the week of 19 to 25 May, we, Student of the Gun Radio, was in the top 100. We were rated number 45 in all of their sports shows. That includes football and soccer and outdoor fishing and all that kind of stuff. And we were the number one gun-related show. I think we were the only one. Jared, were you in the top 100?
Yeah, we were the only gun-related show in there.
Okay. So, and that isn't because of us. It's because of you guys. It's because of you guys out there streaming and listening and podcasting and downloading and doing all that stuff that you guys do.
And if you're listening to us, it doesn't matter what platform you're on. If you're on iTunes or if you're on Stitcher, leave us a review. Whether you like us or not, it helps us either way. We would rather, if you like us, we would rather you leave us a review. But for the most part, everybody seems to like what we're doing.
Well, that's the thing is, you know how it is. The human beings, if they like something, they don't say anything about it. They just keep doing it over and over again.
Well, that's why I was giving you a call to action. And
that's
if
right.
you like us,
it's a call
go rate
to
us.
action. That's Jared's thing. It's a call to action. Like, I don't know what I should do. I'm going to give you a call to action. I'm going to let you know what you should do. And all you marketing guys out there, you're like, aha! These guys have taken marketing 101. Jared took marketing 101 or marketing 100 because he has marginal marketing skills. Do you have marginal marketing skills?
Can you say that 5 times fast?
Blah, blah, blah. No. All right. So thank you very much. If you listen to us on iTunes, that's cool too. Leave us a comment if you feel generous. And if you're in your mom's basement, sitting in a beanbag, half naked with a bag of Cheetos, and you're waiting for your mom to bring you down a sandwich, go ahead and post some hate on the internet, because that's what you do. What else do we want to do? We're going to talk about 4-H shooting sports very soon. Dude, it is June, as we've already discussed, because I can read a calendar. And what that means is within 6 weeks. 6 weeks from now, we're going to be at the shooting education camp in Ohio.
That's one of my favorite weeks of the year.
It is. That is like Christmas to us. That's like big boy Christmas for us. We get to go up to Cantor's Cave and Jackson, just outside of Jackson, Ohio, to the Ohio 4-H Shooting Education Camp, and get to see people, our friends that we only get to see once a year, but we've known them for years and years and years, decades even.
I'm looking forward to seeing the gun golfers this year.
That's right. Gun golfers. We're going to do some combat clays with our favorite gun golfers. We're going to get up there. We're going to work with the kids. Folks, if you have not yet taken the time to avail yourself to the 4-H shooting sports program, do it. Just do it. Okay. If you have kids and you're like, my kids are interested in guns, and I think I'm just going to teach them. Dudes, I know that you're a man and you think you can do everything, but you can't do everything. Every once in a while, you have to let go. That's what I did as a dad. I took my kids to the 4-H shooting sports program when they were little, when they were 10, 11 years old. All of my kids have gone through the 4-H shooting sports program. They've all enjoyed it. It's been just a ridiculously positive experience. This is something that I wish every child in America could experience. Let me tell you what, if 1/4 of the children of America could go through the 4-H shooting education camp or the shooting sports program, this nation would be turned around in one generation. Don't you think, Jared?
Yes, I definitely. They do. They do very good things for the kids.
This is about. It's not so much about guns and bows and arrows. It's about youth development. And Lord in heaven, in America today, we need that. We desperately need youth development. We need kids that are intelligent, that are confident, genuine confidence, not this false garbage that they try and feed them in public schools, or any school for that matter. We need kids that can go out, that are responsible, that understand, civics, that they understand safety, that they understand responsibility, that they understand the difference between bad actions and good actions, and how, good actions have rewards and bad actions have, punishments. These kids, the kids that have grown up in the 4-H shooting sports, it's been very, very gratifying for me, because I've watched them over the last 13, 14, 15 years. Kids that were 10, 11 years old when I first started teaching at the shooting education camp are now out of college. They're married. They're starting families. They're starting businesses. They're productive citizens. It's a fantastic thing. I see these kids now, and it's amazing to me. It blows me away. And I feel very, very fortunate that I've been able to be a part of it, that I've been able to take part in the 4-H shooting sports experience. And I cannot speak highly enough of it. And if you're sitting out there and you're a little bit excited and you're a little bit pumped up and you say, well, dude, how do I get involved? Well, number one, if you are looking for a 4-H shooting sports program in your county, in your area, in your community, go to your local, just get on the internet machine. You're going to search engine anyway. Just put in 4-H Extension Office, and that'll take you where you need to be. Give them a phone call and say, hey, do you guys have a 4-H program or a shooting sports program? And they'll be like, yes or no. And if they say no, say, well, why not? How can we get one started in our county? How can we get one started in our community? Because the 4-H shooting sports program is manned by super ridiculously dedicated volunteers, some of the finest adult human beings I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And believe me, I don't gush and I don't exaggerate when I tell you that the people who man and volunteer at the 4-H shooting education camp in Ohio are some of the finest adult human beings I've ever had the privilege to work with. I'm not bull crapping you. Okay. But wherever you happen to be, maybe you're in Iowa, maybe you're in Texas, maybe you're in Florida, wherever you happen to be, if you want to get your kids involved in a 4-H shooting education program, start with the extension office. Call them up and say, hey, do we have a 4-H shooting sports program in our county? And if they say yay, if they say yes, great, fantastic, go meet with the instructors, with the coordinators, and drive on from there. If they don't, you might say, hey, why don't we? And one of the things that we're going to be doing at the camp this year with Student of the Gun TV is we're going to be filming, and we're going to sit down with some of the adult volunteer instructors and some of the instructor trainers, because you have different levels. You have your basic volunteers, and then you have your adult volunteers who teach people to be instructors, because you have to learn how to be an instructor somewhere. And like, for instance, Fred Sherman. Fred Sherman is a fantastic human being. He's been a friend of mine for 15 years. And Fred is an instructor trainer. Larry Harris, an instructor trainer. These are people who teach other adults how to be instructors. And we're going to sit down with these guys, and we're basically going to get them on camera, and we're going to say, hey, reach out to the adults in our audience and tell them what they need to do, how they need to get involved, or, in the 4-H shooting sports program. And then we're also going to talk about getting your kids involved and the different avenues that you can do. You say, well, I've got a daughter. She's like 11 years old. She doesn't like guns. She's like, oh, I know, she'll shoot a gun if I hand it to her, but she's not really excited about it. She's not enthusiastic about it. And that's cool. The last thing you want to do is force a kid to do something, because they'll do it. They'll gut it up and they're like, okay, I'll do it to please you or just to shut you up, Dad. But they won't enjoy it. You want them to enjoy it. You want them to crave it. You want them to be like my daughter was when she was 8 years old, and she came to me and said, Daddy, when can we go to the range again? And I had a tear in my eye. I said, you're the most beautiful child I've ever seen. I love you. Or, Daddy, do we have more ammo? Yes, baby, we do have more ammo. I will get you some. I will mortgage the house and buy more ammo so you can go to the range. But we're going to be filming that like I said, in only 6 weeks. Now, the 4-H shooting sports program is a volunteer program. It relies upon your generosity, both from time and money. And if you would like to donate to the 4-H shooting sports program, you can go to our link, the Midway USA Foundation. If you go to studentofthegunradio.com, yeah, I know I'm trying to make you get on the computer again, but go to studentofthegunradio.com, and right up there in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link. It's the logo for the 4-H shooting sports. Just click on it, and you can make a donation to a program near you or to the national program. And if you have a club that's near you, even if you don't have little kids, if you have a club that's near you and you believe in it, get with the local guys and say, hey, how can I help? Is there anything that I can do to help you guys out? And I bet you they would love to have your help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to bring us right to the end of part number 1 of this week's episode, Student of the Gun Radio here. We want to thank our good friends at Keltec, Colt, Crossbreed, and, of course, Excess Sights. Now, don't forget about the TV show. It's on Dish Network, channel 266, Monday nights at 9 p.m. And Jared wants to say something. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, where else is it going to be? Did we announce a new?
No, we didn't announce that yet. On the Wilderness channel?
Yeah, Wilderness channel, yeah.
Yeah, all right. We just made a deal, and this literally the ink is not even dry on this contract. But a lot of you guys out there in the audience have said, I don't have satellite. What I have is Apple TV, or I have a Roku. I've got the Roku box in my smart TV.
Or Chromecast. I believe Chromecast works as well.
Chromecast. And we did some research, and we found out that between Roku and Apple TV, there's over 18 million people in America using those devices. Wow. So if you're one of those 18 plus million that are using Roku or Apple TV or Chromecast, you will now be able to watch Student of the Gun TV on the Wilderness channel. And that's launching this week as you're hearing this. So check it out, folks. We've been working hard. We're trying to expand the audience, trying to expand our delivery system so that everybody can see it. Well, of course, everybody can, because if you've got an internet connection, you can watch us at studentofthegun.com. Jared, you want to say goodbye to the folks?
Goodbye to the folks.
Goodbye to the folks. All right, remember, you are a beginner once, but you should be a student for life.